And you wonder, will there ever be a payoff? So you wander through the endless blinding chaos. As you ponder the bitter sting of this loss. Still you wander through the endless blinding chaos.
It's Countertop Chaos, and I'm Seth. And this is a Guatemalan coffee from Dak Coffee Roasters in the Netherlands. And I know on all my other videos I say, oh, this is my favorite roaster in this country. And, it's true. And the Netherlands is where I live. It is really, really hard for me to pick a single favorite coffee roaster in this country because there are so many good ones. But Dak is really good. And they're an easy inclusion on the list of like, what are some of your favorites? It's really easy to say Dak is one of the best. And man, I just feel like they have just gotten better and better and better over time, to the point that now I think that they are certainly the most unique coffee roaster in this country. They are delivering flavor profiles that I just don't think anybody else is doing, and I'm not totally sure how they're doing it, except that I think they're just really willing to push the envelope in terms of what they're open to experiment with. And they have relationships with really good growers. And it's worth pausing a second on the idea of just pushing the envelope, because that is actually a lot of what I've been thinking about in life in general lately. How do you build this elusive thing called creative confidence? Because I've seen before a lot just how big of a challenge it can be to be willing to try and create something new, something novel, something where you know at the outset that there's a chance that it won't work right. Um, and, I think in a lot of ways, most of how we traditionally educate people beyond the age of like 6 uh, pushes against creative confidence. It pushes us to do things where we can come up with a singular right answer and where we can arrive at predictable outcomes. Um, and I think, unfortunately, that is actually really inhibiting to the development of creative confidence. Now, like I was talking about on a few videos ago, building technique, building the ability to do something really well, that's valuable and it's important. But being able to make a bold flying leap, uh, being able to say, I've got an idea, I don't know if it can quite work, but I'm going to just give it a try. I've got something that's in my head and I want to see if I can turn it into a thing in the world, not just in my head. Um, that is an endeavor that is fraught with uncertainty, ambiguity. It's all about just navigating a lot of unknowns for, unfortunately, a lot longer than you probably want to. Uh, is the reality. You have to stay in this period of discomfort. You have to do these things where, it never quite works the way you want it to the first time. And that's not even a reflection on something like a lack of technique. Um, I think when I talk to people who are doing this and trying it for the first time, a lot of times they want to know that the discomfort and the challenge and the feeling like maybe you're doing it wrong, that's something that they overcome. And the truth is, you only overcome it if you completely cut off any sort of like ambition or aspiration to be able to do more, do better, to be able to take on things of greater scope. If you kind of just stay in that one singular place and just keep churning out the same thing over and over and over again, uh, then yeah, I think you can actually kind of mitigate that. But also, like, how much of a creative process are you in at that point? You're just doing the known thing. Um, the truth is, like, if you are continuing to push, if you're continuing to exercise creative confidence and try new things, you're always going to find yourself in that place where you're sitting in discomfort. You're trying something that you don't know if it's going to work or how well. Uh, you know, you're doing battle with your own inner demons who tell you that, like, oh, you can't do this. You don't know what you're doing because it's not turning out right away. Um, and and so, like, how do we build the creative confidence to be able to respond to that? There's a really easy way. Um, Unfortunately, it's not an avenue that's open to all of us. But like, if if you're like a white guy whose father is a millionaire, you probably already have the confidence to believe that you can do whatever you want to do. Um, for the rest of us, it's it's an endeavor of trying, and in some cases, it's about setting your ambition at the right level to start with. Like being able to say, if you've got the idea for like a 2-hour movie in your head, probably right away that's not where you're going to land. Um, but to scope it down and say, okay, what's the like one piece of this that I think I just want to see if I can get right? Like, can I write up this one scene? Can I figure out a way to film it or even to like to storyboard it? It's about getting into that thing where you're just taking the first best step and being able to kind of push away judgment, push away anything that tells you like you've got to get it right, because that's not the right thing. It's not about getting it right. It's about doing something that moves you forward. Um, you know what moves me forward? Oh, time for an abrupt ending. You know what moves me forward is drinking some coffee. And that's what I'm going to do because this is done. Um, and I am ready for it. So it's time for me to have a bit of coffee. And I, just give myself a little pour. This does not require a whole lot of creative confidence. Um, this is process and technique. But this has been my exercise in creative confidence lately. The idea of like, yeah, I don't know, there's this thing in my head. I should just try it. Um, and it's pushing me. It's pushing me in ways that I like. So I'm going to enjoy this, and I hope you enjoy your day.